Welcome to Take Over Bonafide, Take Over Sports. Here with your host T-Wil, the People's Coach, the other host Bold Barry.
What's up, y'all?
So we're gonna go over, this rookie class is really catching a lot of people off guard. I'll say, you already know that some of these rookies were gonna come in and make a slight impact. Some who haven't made that impact yet. Others, we're still waiting. But there's a lot of rookies who just stepped into the league and they're playing better than some veterans right now. And so one in particular we're going to talk about that I just want to mention because one, he was talked about on this podcast during Summer League. He was talked on this podcast during preseason. Just someone to keep your eye on but he's taking
he's doing his thing.
Yeah, he's taking Donovan Mitchell, man. He's
Gordon, who?
Exactly. He's
impactful right now.
He's starting to come.
Role.
Yeah,
real quick.
Household name. And so a lot of you are watching this and really don't know who he is. That's what we're here for. We're here to educate, let y'all know that you guys gonna need to keep an eye on this young guy. And so the reason we want to talk about him so in depth, and then just in general, the fact that every year I feel like there's a guy like this that just comes out of nowhere. You talk about, like I said, the Draymond Greens, the Antetokounmpos, Devin Bookers. These dudes that drafted not as high as they should have been. Or
even Kyle Kuzma this year too.
Yeah,
another prime example.
And then when we say that at the time of the draft, of course they were probably ranked low because of the way they played in college. But whoever knew that they were blossoming into being the player that they are right now. Like in general, we constantly joke about Antetokounmpo not being picked high or where the Celtics could have got. But who would have knew he would? No one knew that he was going to be this type of player. You just kind of seen it.
Somebody on the bus.
But you just seen the potential. Right. So, but with certain dudes who just make this immediate impact, you gotta wonder who's doing these scouting reports because Donovan Mitchell's looking like
how did you miss him, man?
He's the second best rookie right now.
Second best rookie,
honestly.
He had a career high the other night against Boogie Cousins and them.
Yeah, so and he's not. It's just on the stat sheet. He's making an impact when he's on the court. His statistical impact on the team, he just makes them a lot better. Mm-hmm. And so
he's a legitimate scoring option,
facilitator. And so they brought in Ricky Rubio to, be that guy, but he's pushing Ricky Rubio aside.
I don't think Ricky went over there to be that guy.
No, when I say not to be the guy.
He went over there really went over there for Hayward, because Hayward wanted to play with him, so that's really why they got him. But he's there, though, for the facilitation purposes. Yeah. We all know that.
No, what I'm saying, when I say to be that guy, they brought him over there to be the leading point guard, to facilitate, to run the team.
Oh, okay.
He's Donovan Mitchell saying, "Nah, I got this" at the young age. So,
but he's more like the off-ball guy anyway, though. So
no, they got him at point.
They got him at point sometimes. Yeah.
Oh wow! They got him at point. Ricky
Jazz at 12 and 11. I haven't been paying attention to him.
Yeah, they got him running at point sometimes. They got him running off ball. They got him kind of
so he's just like a basketball player.
Yeah, and to the point, you're Mr. Statistic guy. You like this when he's on the court. Basically, the efficiency of the team goes up. So, of course, that guy has to be on the floor at all times now.
He's
making the teams better, especially now they're getting Gobert back.
Luke Walton got to take some pointers. That you keep your leading guy on the floor.
Yeah. So, looking at that, we want to get into our whole conversation of one, talking about this dude, kind of highlighting what he's been doing, talking about how he's making an impact in terms of just being a rookie. And you guys need to keep an eye on him. Donovan Mitchell been doing his thing. But with this conversation, we're going to go into a topic that it became more than what we thought it was going to be when we had discussion, because we have different points on this take. One, we want to highlight that there's a lot of guys in the draft that kind of go, you look at it after the fact and it's like, okay, how does this dude get drafted so low? So one dude in particular, this guy, hopefully you know his name. He's been doing all right. A couple MVP seasons, something slight. Steph Curry, he was drafted relatively late compared to how well he's playing right now. Mm-hmm. And so you look at, you wanted to mention to me, he got an accolade or something out there again. Another one.
He's one of the greatest shooters of all time. He's about to smash that sooner than you think. I think he's a top 7 in 3-point field goals made in half the games that everybody else is in. He's done this with I think he got 19,000 threes plus, and he's done that in less than 600 games. which is insane.
Crazy.
So for me, I used to always hear who's the best shooter or are they the best shooter of all time, and like I think it flew over a lot of our heads because we're watching in the now. But I had to go dig into the stat bag and look at the all times list, and I saw those names that he was up there with, and I'm like, wow, like this dude. We got some of the names up here. He's behind Jason Kidd, behind Vince Carter, behind Jamal Crawford, but he's only behind them by only a few 3-point field goals, and he's going to do that this year. He's pretty much going to hit 2,000 threes this year, all time. And Ray Allen is currently at the top with 2,973.
Okay, so let me be devil's advocate. And we'll get into, like I said, one of the main topics after that being devil's advocate. Does he get so many? Is his attempt so high? And is he having a better chance and easier chance at reaching this accolade because he's been on the team with other impact players? So the focus has never really been on him per se. Like some of those dudes that you named outside of Jamal Crawford, they've been the guy in their teams. So of course their attempts aren't so free. You get what I'm getting at? Like. You look at some of his shot attempts, he's open. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's wide open because the defense is collapsing on Kevin Durant, who they just got, but collapsing on Clay. You know what I'm saying? Not collapsing on Draymond, but that he got to keep an eye. So is it the fact that he's getting so many attempts because he's got people to distract the rest of the offense?
I can only say that basically for this year and last year, but if we look at every other year before that, he's been creating for himself, and he wasn't unanimous MVP for no reason. He hasn't been 2-time MVP for no reason. Teams are focusing on him, so it's not like we're taking away those comparisons versus those other guys, because those other guys were focal points just as much as Steph Curry's been. So I kind of have to disagree with you on that one because he's been that guy. We're looking at these last 2 years. He's already been climbing on this list before KD, and him and Clay actually were called the Splash Bros for a reason because they were both smashing 3-point records in the regular season. So it's been based off both of them. It's just they're tough to guard. Now, to kind of add on to that, at the same time, it's like you have everybody else around you, so you're getting your shots off easy because the way their offense is set up, if you're rotating the ball so much and you're moving it, you're going to have an open look. Just to answer that.
Yeah. And so one thing I wanted to kind of get into, and we'll finish off with this topic, is the fact that Steph, like we talked about, drafted in the second half of those top 10 picks in his draft class. If I'm correct, you talk about dudes, like the Devin Bookers. Talk about dudes like you talking about the Kuzmas. Basically, like those dudes. So we had a discussion of. I'm looking at if we had to redraft right now, Steph will not go so late. But he got drafted so late because of the things surrounding him. They're not thinking that he could be marketable. Not thinking he could lead the team. They didn't think that he was only,
they only thought he was just a shooter, so to say. Like, even though,
yeah.
Actually in the league, but they think he was that trendsetter player.
Yeah, so for me, I look at that like, if you weren't drafted in the top 5, granted, the lottery obviously expands past the top 5, but if you weren't drafted at one of those high picks, I don't think you're drafted to be a good compliment to the team. You're drafted to be relatively a star, but not some of the potential superstar caliber, potential someone of superstar caliber or someone of all-star caliber. I know that my thoughts are kind of everywhere like that, but I'm just saying, Steph drafted number 7. Mm-hmm. You were never not going to see him to be this type of player. Devin Booker drafted at number 13. You were not seeing him to be a potential all-star, which he's shaping to be. Like I said, we were discussing was that you think all those picks make them a type of star potential player when the team drafts you at that point in the draft. I think if you get drafted that late, unless you're in the top 5 per se, they're not expecting you to be a star. Okay, let me say it like that. If you're not
right, go ahead.
No, that's it.
So, I mean, I agree with you. As far as where you're positioned at in the draft, whether or not teams are looking for you to be a star or not. But I disagree with top 5. Top 5 is really where those expectations are higher. You know what I'm saying? But I still think if you're in the top 10, those teams still expect you to be a franchise-changing guy or be able to kind of shape your franchise within a 2 to 3 year span. You get what I'm saying? So with
Shit.
that, it's like
Clay
top 5 is more impact, immediate impact, and then the bottom 5, I guess, so to say, would be let's see what happens in a year or two, because most likely you have, like, for example, I think the Mavericks, I can use as a perfect example. Like, you got Dennis Smith Jr. He's a guy who looks like they can change a franchise, but you still have Dirk there, which obviously he's been at the end of his career for like 3-4 years now. But you finally got that pick in the draft to kind of set that roll out that next coming guy to take Dirk's place, so to say. Unless you make free agency moves too.
No, okay. So now I get what you're. So I feel like we're both getting at the same thing. But what I'm more so getting at is the fact that the Dennis Smith Juniors, the Stephs, Miles Turner, who was drafted late.
And Paul George was drafted late.
Yeah, Paul George, who was drafted late. We dudes were not expecting these guys to be potential stars or stars. Some of them, like I said, some of the dudes that we named are, they could potentially be stars.
The potential is there.
So now that they kind of are showing this, if you had to redraft all this, I feel these dudes are undervalued. These dudes are undervalued at that point in time.
How much would all those dudes, if you look at certain, obviously, you have bust in these picks, but
obviously.
How much higher would you see certain dudes going above other dudes within this draft class? Like, for example, I guess Kuzma, we'll use this draft class.
He would be in the top 10.
So Kuzma and Donovan, they would be top 10?
Yeah.
Over... We got to pull up that draft class real quick because I feel like
they would be in the top 10. Jordan Isaac was drafted in the top 10. He's looking like the little good. He's looking like he has potential, but not immediate impact. If teams knew that Donovan Mitchell and Kuzma could provide this immediate impact to their team, you draft a guy with immediate impact. They absolutely go high. You don't get the project.
But who do they go over though? Can you name me in that top 10 that was in this draft class? Who do they go over?
Justin Jackson's looking like a project. I would take Kuzma over Justin Jackson.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I would.
I know a lot of people are Justin Jackson fans.
I'm just saying. Josh
Jackson.
Yeah. Oh yes, what I call him. Josh. My bad. Yeah, him. And so, homie from Kansas. And so, Frank
Ntilikina King,
you know what I'm saying?
Well, the Knicks should have really had Smith Jr. So
he shouldn't even be in the top 10.
He shouldn't even be in the top 10, so that's real. All right. So those are two guys that you can swap out right there.
Yeah, and hey, that's what I'm talking about. So you look at those two right there. Those are guys that I would just automatically swap. So just to wrap up my point, is there's a lot of every year there's someone who's undervalued, and so I really question like one, who's doing these scouting reports. Two, some of this stuff you can't predict because it's hard work, it's work ethic.
It's what they do outside of the gym.
Jimmy Butler, Kawhi, those are two products of just work, like not just like initial talent, just work. So that's someone we got to keep an eye on. Talk about the Donovan Mitchells. Please keep an eye on him because I think he's going to have a really bright future. And with the Jazz too, the Jazz haven't been on any type of map.
Right, they haven't been on no map. Like Hayward was just putting them on there. Hayward was like, I'm out.
Yeah.
But luckily they picked up with this guy Donovan, because he's put up 28 on his debut night and a career high to start the month at 41, I believe. So this guy's official, man. I just peeped the stats. I might start watching more Jazz games.
He needs to kind of fill up the stat sheet in other ways, but he's still young.
He's a rookie, exactly. You got to take it for what it's worth. Come on, Luke. Don't treat him like Kuzma now. Talking about he need to do more, but he's your leading scorer on the team.
All right, we'll catch y'all next time. Appreciate y'all watching. Please subscribe. Please check us out on IG, Bonafide Takeover _617. Appreciate y'all. Catch y'all next time.
We made it.